Dakota reveals, the scenes that scared me, and I never want to do it again with Jamie Dornan. Dakota Johnson appears in a pale gray turtleneck sweater, her light brown eyes as calm as an autumn lake. She is participating in a recording of an independent talk show, where the host does not need scandal to attract views, but simply asks sincerely, "What haunts you the most in your career?" Dakota smiles softly, her eyes narrowing slightly as if hearing an echo from a faraway place in her memory. "It was 2013, I got the role of Anastasia Steele. And then," she sighs, "a life-changing role, and it took a piece of her away." 50 Shades of Grey was a turning point, Dakota begins. "It took me out of the shadow of my famous family. It made people know me as an actor. But the price was my mind." Dakota said that when she was cast as Anna Steele, she was only 23 years old, young, innocent, and had never faced such a heavy intimate scene. She was not used to acting with her body almost naked, in a stuffy space with a co-star she had just met. "Jamie Dornan is a nice, polite and professional person. But I didn't know him. And I had to pretend to love, desire, hurt, enjoy, with a stranger, in the middle of a set with more than 20 people watching." The haunting scene, the Red Room. Dakota said that the scene that has stuck with her to this day is the first scene where Anna enters the Red Room of Pain, where Christian Grey first reveals his true nature. "When the director says, 'Action,' I have to walk through the door, stand among the chains, whips, wooden tables, ropes, and act like I'm attracted to him." But in reality, Dakota was in a state of emotional turmoil. It wasn't excitement. It was numbness, she says. "I didn't know if I was acting or being pulled into a world I never wanted to explore." Jamie tried hard to keep the scene respectful. He would turn around and ask, "Are you okay?" after each take. But nothing could replace the discomfort Dakota felt physically. There was no such thing as dangerous. But it was an emotional intrusion. It was having to pretend to love something, when inside you were screaming, "I don't want to be here." Exhausted, isolated, and pretending, Dakota admits that after days of shooting, she would go back to the hotel and cry. Not physically, but emotionally. Nobody talks about post-traumatic stress disorder in acting. People think, "Oh, it's just a movie." But for me, it was an internal battle. She recounted waking up at night with dreams of the red studio lights, the constant shouts of, "Cut," and her own blank stare in the mirror after each take. "I started to lose touch with my body. I had to pretend to be shaking with desire. I had to pretend to be in pain. I had to pretend to be hurt. But over time, I lost the sense of what was pretending." Jamie Dornan, the co-star in The Shield. Although the experience of filming left Dakota traumatized, she never blamed Jamie Dornan. "Quite the contrary. He was the only one who made me feel safe. Jamie always asked me for permission before touching me. He said, 'If you feel uncomfortable, stop.'" Dakota said that once, during a scene where she had to be tied up, she suddenly panicked for real. Her breathing was rapid, her eyes were watery. She didn't say stop, but Jamie noticed. He stopped immediately, untied the rope and hugged me. Not a word, just hugged. It was the first time she realized that not everyone on the set saw the product as important. Never again. The host asked Dakota, "If you could do it again, would you do it again?" She was speechless. "No. I wouldn't do it again." Then she looked straight into the camera, seriously. "It's not because I hate the show. It's not because I hate Jamie. It's because I don't want to lose myself again." Dakota says the role made her grow up faster than she wanted. It made her realize that in this industry, you have to protect yourself. No one else can do it for you. "I let a part of myself die in that movie. And I don't want to lose any more. Learning to be yourself." Years later, Dakota returned to less controversial films, roles of ordinary women, with real, unchecked emotions. She did The Lost Daughter because she wanted to cry for real. She did Persuasion because she wanted to act out old-fashioned grief. She produced Cha Cha Real Smooth because she wanted to tell her own story, an imperfect woman who didn't need to be sexy to be heard. Jamie and she still keep in touch. They're not lovers. They're not lovers. They're people who go through a silent war together. We're friends, the kind of friends who don't need to say anything to know what each other's been through. A system that needs change. Dakota ended the interview with a call for more ethical, intimate filmmaking. We need more sensitive directors. On-set mental health counselors. Contracts that are clear about boundaries. And most of all, listening to actors. She admitted, "I don't hate the role of Anna. Shush is brave and strong in her own way. But I hate the way I was turned into an icon when I wasn't ready." Courage is not about being open, it's about saying no in the public eye. Dakota Johnson is a sex symbol, the female lead of the 50 Shades era. But for her, that experience is the biggest lesson, daring to refuse, daring to protect herself, and daring not to do the things that made her lose. She doesn't deny the past. But she also doesn't let the past define her, and perhaps, it is that, not any hot scene, that makes Dakota Johnson truly memorable.